Sasha, remember the days when toys were made out of tin?
Oh, yes, long, long ago, in which we can be able to play tin soldiers and tin trains and little tin action figures and stuff like that. But unfortunately, it seems that tin it can easily rust and may even be bad for you if you consume parts of it if you're a baby. So that's why we don't have a lot of tin toys anymore.
Yeah, and but that doesn't stop you putting them in 3D animated films with ugly babies in them. So, but mind you, this is a really important step, I think, also once again for Pixar because this short is called Tin Toy, and you actually believe that this toy is made out of tin because look how shiny it looks.
Very shiny indeed. I mean, it's like the detail of the tin toy is so good that the baby just looks absolutely horrifying.
Well, yeah, I think the idea was that the baby was supposed to look horrifying. It was supposed to be like the Godzilla in this in this shot. So, and he's just wrecking everything and that. So, so I will give you the quick overview of basically what the story is. So, there's a new toy in the living room called Tin Toy, and then he gets introduced to this baby who walks into the room, unaccompanied, may I have to say. So, like, maybe some inspiration from the Rugrats there, maybe. We're not too sure. But, yeah, so the baby starts destroying things. The tin toy is absolutely petrified, runs under the sofa, and the baby starts crying because, tin toy is no longer there anymore. But then tin toy discovers that there's other toys out there who are also hiding from the baby, too. So, the tin toy then feels bad for the baby because it's obviously on its own. So, it tries to go out and entertain it, only to figure out that he's been upstaged by a box and a bag. So
Yeah.
So, yeah, that basically is the story. But I don't think that's the important thing here. I think the important things we take away from this is that the toys in this story, pardon the pun, they do look like toys. They have various textures and they look really good. And I have to say, the baby doesn't look all that great. They still haven't nailed humans down at this point. I mean, they still look.
And they wouldn't nail down humans even when they did Toy Story, to be quite honest.
That is fair. But, I mean, in regards to what the important elements, I think, in this short, I mean, it shows Pixar has some promise. It's entering maturity, I think, at this point. So.
Yeah, it is entering maturity, and and this was the first time in which Pixar had gotten massive acclaim because this short won an Oscar back in 1988 for Best Animated Short Film, and it was competing against Technological Threat and The Cat Came Back.
Mm-hmm. So, just looking at the one thing I noticed is that actually the music is actually very absent in this short. It doesn't focus on what the music is driving this area. It is actually the physical elements in the movie that are the driving force behind this, and also the sounds as well. You also get to see the weaknesses in Tin Toy in this, which is very, very strange for a short because you don't really get to see what the story kind of driven weaknesses of a character. But in this is Tin Toy is thwarted by the fact that he basically is, a one-man band, toy soldier who has a drum strap to his back. He has an accordion on the front of him. He has things, cymbals knocking between his knees. It's just it is the worst possible place to be for a toy at this point, trying to run away from a baby that notices him, and he has all the sounds to kind of give away his position and stuff like that. So yeah, it's all of that stuff is quite good in that too.
Yeah, and not to mention that this was released at the right time because Pixar were going through major financial issues to the point in which they had to ask Steve Jobs for more money so that they can be able to stay afloat. And once again, very similar to the shorts that we've been talking about previously, in which they ran on a very limited time with a limited budget. They had to scrounge through every resource that they had so they can be able to complete it. And this was done by Buena Vista. The company that would later on be a division of Disney. So they had to really prove themselves in order for them to showcase that this short and 3D animation was the way of the future. And it proved well in the end because now they're Oscar worthy, and now they can be able to showcase that, hey, we can be able to do a lot more than just creating simple shorts that just only are tech demos for what 3D animation can do.
So, that's Tin's Toy. It's pretty straightforward, but it's a really important step forward for Pixar. So, tune us in.
Well, hold on. Before we go, we need to mention about the a couple of things regarding about Tin Toy. Was that, if you guys remember from our discussion on Toy Story, was that there was supposed to be a theatrical movie based off of Tin Toy.
Yeah, and also, but mind you, 25 years later, he did finally make his appearance in Toy Story 4.
Yeah, so at least there you go. There's to compensate for Tin Toy, and we were like the only geeks who pointed it out. It's like, look, there's Tin Toy, and everybody in the all the audience in the theater were like looking at us.
And we're always going to be the nerds in the movie theater. We're always going to be the nerds. So yeah,
I was the nerd who actually pointed out, oh look, they're doing the Konami code in Wreck-It Ralph, and everybody was like looking at me funny. So, oh well.
Yeah, well, I'd rather. There's a screen in front of everybody. They need to mind their own business, as far as I'm concerned. So, yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely right up there with Luxo Jr. as one of the most important of the classic Pixar shorts, right before they spun off into Toy Story.
Okay, everybody. Well, that was Tin Toy. I mean, it was a big step forward, and this is going to be their next big step forward coming up tomorrow. So stay tuned for Knick Knack.
All right, catch you later, everyone.